Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Okay guys, so there's a story that caught my attention and a lot of South Africans. It was not just me. So yeah, I read this story from what's this, the Kasi crime. The story reads that a South African who was working in Zimbabwe got sick, but Zimbabwe didn't give him medical treatment. South Africa had to pick him up by a helicopter. He was welcomed by the Limpopo Premier, Dr Phophi Ramathuba. So I'm going to read you guys some of the comments that caught my attention. So this one says, meanwhile other countries like Zimbabwe prioritize their own, even with the little they have. They literally have little to zero resources. South Africans are being betrayed by their own leaders. We will not allow this to continue. Our healthcare is for South Africans first. And then this one says, chances are he couldn't receive medical treatment in Zimbabwe because there is none. That is the reality of every Zimbabwean. Hospitals don't even have paracetamol. Even the biggest hospital doesn't have oxygen. So I'm not shocked. At least SA government rescued him. And then another one says, South Africans sent back home, just one patient could not be treated, yet millions of Zimbabweans are receiving health care and occupying wards, causing so much strain on our healthcare system. South Africans, this is not xenophobic healthcare denied for one. South African in Zim. Okay, and then another one says, this proves exactly what we patriots have been saying all along. South Africa must defend its healthcare system for its own citizens. Zimbabwe, the same country flooding our hospitals, refused to treat a South African citizen in their country. Yet here in South Africa, we allow illegal foreigners to flood our clinics, spend 17 million in settlements on people who crossed our borders illegally, watch our hospitals rot without funds for basic medication, equipment, or fumigation. We barely have the world-class hospital. Our people are turned away daily. Our resources are stretched thin, but we are still expected to carry the world burdens? ? And South Africa is supposed to render health care to hordes of illegal foreigners for free. We are being taken for a ride. And then this one says, oh, so they only want healthcare in South Africa but don't provide it to us. Lol. Okay guys, so and then I went on to check the constitution of Zimbabwe, what it says with regards to the whole healthcare for foreigners thing. Okay, and then chapter 4 section of 76 of the Zimbabwean constitution, right to healthcare, says every citizen and permanent resident of Zimbabwe has the right to have access to basic health care services, including reproductive health care services. Foreigners are not catered for. Okay, listen to this. Foreigners are not catered to this. Guys, do you remember what happened? I think it was last week. A pregnant Zimbabwean lady was turned away from Kalafong Hospital, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And people got mad. South Africans were called all sorts of names. They were called xenophobic and all that. Even the government had to release statement. Statements were released left, right, and center. And now this happens and no one is saying anything. Not even the Zimbabwean government released a statement to address this issue. So guys, I want to know, what do you think could be the problem? Do you think it was just lack of resources, as some Zimbabwean claim that things are back at home? That is why the woman came to South Africa to give birth. She couldn't do that back home because she knew how their healthcare system was so bad, it had collapsed. So she knew she could get a better healthcare system in South Africa, better healthcare. Or do you think the South African was simply denied medical attention simply because he was a foreigner in Zimbabwe, as per their constitution? What do you guys think? I'm very much interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Okay, leave your comment down below. Do you think the South African was simply denied, or maybe he was not even denied medical attention? There was just no resources. They knew that they could not help him, hence they sent him home, or they could not help him because he was not a Zimbabwean, what do you guys think? Is it the reason that most Zimbabwean pregnant women run to South Africa to give birth because they know that the health care system this side is better? What do you guys think? So what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Do you think people are judging the Zimbabwean government harshly? Because I think everyone knows or have read about how bad the situation is in Zimbabwe. You know, maybe they probably did not have like the proper medication, you know, or maybe